Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Celebrity Munchausen, the online edition. We're hoping this will be the first of many, and we're putting out as a public service so that we can entertain you all for the foreseeable future. So, if you enjoy this, please come back. We hope to have more celebrities, and we hope to put on more shows for you. Our celebrity panel is starting off with Gavrin from A Halo Called Fred.
Hello.
Professor J.P. McClendon.
Hello.
Katie Laurie. And guys, as you go, don't be afraid to shamelessly plug yourself or your friends. We love to shamelessly plug each other here at Munchausen.
Well.
So
I got a guy in Camden who'll do that for about $250.
Are you saying we're supposed to creatively weave our plugs into our stories, or that we're going to have a moment to do that?
Whatever. If you can be creative, be creative.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, Munchausen is a role-playing game. It's a role-playing storytelling game created by James Wallis. And it's one that's been near and dear to us. We've turned into performance. We've entertained a lot of people with it. We've helped to bring out the inner storyteller in a lot of people. And we hope to present that with you tonight. So tonight, each of us will present a 100% true story of adventure that's been made up on the spot. Now, during the tale, however, there might be a point where one of our guests may have recognized that there's a bit of a detail or a bit of the action that the storyteller has left out. And when that happens, we will challenge them and remind them of that detail. So we will see how that goes. We've done this many times, and you'll see how it goes. And hopefully we will weave a very entertaining tale and a very entertaining evening for all of you.
Mm-hmm. Right. We should mention, though, that when we do this, usually at conventions and stuff, we usually raise money for charities. And we've raised quite a bit of money over the years doing these game shows for a good many wonderful charities. So
that's true. At some point, we may be able to figure out how to do that mechanic online. But yeah. Yes, at the conventions, one of the things that we do is for free, we don't take any of the cut when we do this. All the money we raise goes directly to the charity. But yeah, we will raise money with the audience, who will basically use their money to vote for their favorite storyteller. Mm-hmm. And we have raised a few $1,000s over the years for a number of causes. Animal rights, we've raised for RAIN, we've raised for
personal people. I know, just friends of ours who were in need at that time. So so we do small stuff and big stuff at the same time. So it's just a matter of who can we help at this moment. But yeah.
Right.
We do say that at Munchausen we take care of our own. And if there is somebody in need within the festival and fair community, we will try to raise money for them as well.
We did do one for to deal with to talk about taking care of our own for C.J. Henderson, the late horror and Cthulhu author, and we even raised for one member of Carnival at one point.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And we've also raised for his cat.
That is true too. We did raise for his cat, Mr. Thor.
Yeah. What Hogwarts house is he in?
Probably
Gryffindor.
You'd have to ask. Professor. Dr. Wickham. That's right. He bought his degree online. Mm-hmm. He firmly admits it. I can't call him professor. I'm the professor. He's the doctor.
Well, some of us earned our doctor title.
What can I say? A bottle of mead and a couple of old vintage DVDs. Bribery.
And some of us gained our royal title just through sheer will.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's begin. So I'm going to set this to speaker view, so the audience will see the speaker who is working at the time. And I believe we're going to start with Gavrin, and I think Katie has a story that you would like him to tell.
Oh, yes. Gavrin.
Yes.
I would like you to regale us with the tale of how you rode a hippopotamus through Princess Esmeralda's 16th birthday party.
How I rode a hippopotamus through Princess Esmeralda's birthday party. I'm cheating right now, by the way. I'm writing down the story. We don't get to do this when it's live, but I have a keyboard in front of me. I'm like, I can actually refer back to this now. So, hippopotamus. It all started out years before Princess Esmeralda was even born. I happened to grow up on a hippopotamus farm. We would grow the hippopotami from little hippopotamus seeds that we pulled from the hippopotamus trees. It's a weird breeding cycle. Hippopotami, they grow from the trees. The trees give the hippopotamus seeds. It grows an actual hippopotamus, and then when the hippopotamus lives a good full life, it decomposes, and then where the body of the hippopotamus decomposes, another hippopotamus seed appears, thus continuing the cycle of the new hippopotamus tree. So I was a hippopotamus farmer. This is a title that had been bestowed upon me from my grandfather, the first king of Spain. I was the third king of Spain, by that logic, because 2 generations after 1 is 3. And Professor McClendon is grasping at things there. But needless to say, one day the grand army of hippopotami arrived, and they spoke unto me a prophecy. They said to me, one day a princess shall be born, Princess Esmeralda, and she shall spring forth from the hippopotamus bog, and she shall become the princess that will rule the land. Now, being the King of Spain, a title which, as I have so far already mentioned, is one that I have taken great pride of the fact that I have made up for myself and that I've declared to be true, I knew that my throne lay on a very shaky foundation. So I was very afraid of Princess Esmeralda. I was even more afraid of Princess Esmeralda, as later on I found out she had been amassing an army of giant killer owls to come destroy my entire kingdom. Now I knew this was a really bad idea, because there's one thing she didn't know. She was only like 2 at the time, so she doesn't really know the natural order of things. But the one thing that owls are deathly afraid of are hippopotami, and not just any hippopotami, but hippopotami that grow from the trees of the bog of the King of Spain. So
Reverend, as I recall,
yes,
challenge.
Those hippopotami, though, were also afraid of owls in return, and you had to go through a very unique form of exposure therapy with them in order to get them to lower their fear of the hippopotami.
That is true. Thank you. Yes, that is absolutely true. I had to go through a very special form of therapy. What I would do was I would go into the bog and pull big chunks of mud up, big chunks of mud that I would then shape into owls. And then the hippopotamus stampede that resulted was just insane. They would trample all the countryside, all the villagers. But I did this over and over again over the course of, say, 30 years.
Reverend, I distinctly remember it wasn't a rampage, it was them line dancing.
Line dancing, yes. Which way are you?
Yeah.
Line dancing, yes. How could I forget? The line dance, oh my gosh. If you've never seen a hippopotamus line dance, you have not seen anything. They trample the villagers just as much as a stampede, but it's so much more beautiful. The country music playing, the late great Kenny Rogers, rest his soul after his recent passing. This was actually, I remember them doing a line dance to The Gambler, and it was an incredibly moving experience, except for the massive amount of villagers that were killed in the stampede. And it was even better because I knew, whoa, I knew that they were going to knock off.
I have a challenge. I think that the line dancing was actually to Honky Honk Padonkadonk. I think Honky Tonk Padonkadonk. I think that's what it was. Right?
Honky Tonk Padonkadonk.
How could I forget?
Hippopotami, right?
Honky Tonk Badonkadonk. Honky Tonk Badonkadonk?
Yes.
Yes.
Honky Tonk Badonkadonk, the great song. It wasn't Kenny Rogers. It was Lenny Rogers and his great cover of Honky Tonk Badonkadonk. See, the fumes kicked up by the bog must have addled my mind and made me forget some of these horrible things that happen. I mean, the reality is that the hallucination of the Kenny Rogers song they were line dancing to was much more beautiful than the Lenny Rogers cover of Honky Tonk Badonkadonk that they were actually line dancing to, trampling villagers, preparing for to be desensitized to the owls so that they may once and for all defeat Princess Esmeralda, who is now coming of age and ready to raise her army of owls to stampede. Her 21st birthday would be the day that she came of age. Do we have a timer, by the way? Usually I look at the timer while we do this.
Yeah, right.
So I know when to sort of, or is you just going to sort of...
We've got time. Just keep going.
Okay. So her 21st birthday was rapidly arising. And, there was a big glitch in the plan, because while I was preparing my army of hippopotami to fight off her army of owls, there was also a very strange thing happening in the air. I saw a shimmering and a shining, and all the bog hallucinations, and all the Honky Tonk Badonkadonk, and the gambler, and all the songs that were real and fake, and the real owls, and then the bog mud owls that were suddenly coming to life in my mind made me realize that I was in no condition to lead an army of hippopotami against owls. And then I had a vision of a shameless plug appearing in my mind. A shameless plug for an event that was to have happened yesterday, the Freaky Mutant Weirdo Variety Show, starring
shameless
Professor J.P. McClendon. Zach would have also been in there if he hadn't had a conflict that was also canceled, and all of the canceled events that would be coming millions of years in the future, because of course this was before the time machine that made this event happen yesterday. This great charity event that will one day happen again in the time of the great pandemic lifting will once again happen. Anyway, that's the shameless plug for the event that did not happen, but will again one day, which was also to be the CD. What?
Back to the bog owl.
The bog, yes, the bog and the hallucination. So at that moment, I knew there's only one way to escape the bog hallucinations, and that's to climb to the top of the top hippopotamus, which was piled on top of all the other hippopotami on the top of the tallest hippopotamus tree. And so...
Was it just hippopotami all the way down?
It was hippopotami all the way down, yes.
All the way down.
And then I took a running start. That hippopotamus leapt from the hippopotamus tree and landed right in the middle of Princess Esmeralda's birthday party, sending all the owls scattering. And thus was I declared triumphant. And that was the time I rode a hippopotamus through Princess Esmeralda's birthday party right before she knocked me off into the bog, and I've been hallucinating ever since as she's been rolling the kingdom.
Hallucinationing!
I've got to follow that.
Bravo!
I'm a little out of breath after that. Wow.
Oh, dear.
Got my teeth.
I'm so out of breath.
I think I'm going to need a refill for this
And
one.
I need to shift the focus now and challenge Professor McClendon.
Again?
To say, Professor McClendon.
Yeah?
Can you tell us about the time you grew daisies made of gelatinous magma from pistachio nuts on the craters of Mars?
Oh! Wait a minute. That I grew gelatinous pistachio
You know,
nuts.
you grew daisies.
I grew
made
daisies
of gelatinous magma from pistachio nuts on the craters of Mars.
Oh,
You can write it down.
Yeah,
It's not
write
cheating
it
if no one
down.
sees you.
Grew daisies made from gelatinous magma
From pistachio nuts
from
on the
pistachio
craters
nuts
of Mars.
on the pistachio. Oh my God.
I have to write this down now.
So, okay, would you believe there I was? Would you, I own farmlands right in the middle of Mars. And of course, pistachio nuts. Gotta love them. Oh, yeah. So basically, one day, I'm trying to do all of my crops and nothing's waking. So, what are you going to do? No one's going to buy, Martian produce. It's a thing. So I finally, dead broke, decided, you know what? I'll just, grow flowers. Flowers, yeah, that's a booming field. Why not? So basically, I said, well, wait a minute. I've only got my nuts. I don't got any seeds for flowers. I know. I think there's something that I can use. So I went into my shed where I keep all of my produce, and there I got an idea. You see, about 100 yards that way, there was this volcano on Mars. It was deep underground.
James?
Yeah?
I do recall, though, when you got into your shed, you found out that there was an owl-hippo hybrid that had created a nest that was living there. How was it that you dealt with that again?
Well, you see, what happened was that I discovered him because, that's one reason I had to ultimately go find the volcano, because he had eaten so much of my produce. But fortunately enough, if you eat too many of my nuts, you get a little tummy ache. And eventually, you end up having a little bit of weight gain, you get bloated, and ultimately, I just said, hey, have at thee. No one's buying it anyway. So, the poor thing just ate and ate and ate until he got a beer gut like you wouldn't believe, and then he just passed out. So I didn't have to do much other than say, eat.
Professor.
Yeah.
I heard that he didn't just eat until he passed out. I heard that the gut kept on growing until something crazy happened.
Well, you see, what actually also happened is, that is true. His gut kept growing and growing and growing. What can I say? My nuts are plentiful, but hey, I keep it at PG-13. I'm talking about pistachios, you guys. Get your minds out of the gutter. But basically, what happens is that's what happens when you eat Martian nuts. You get really big, bloated bellies. And so and it gave me an idea. So I realized, how am I going to cross the 100 yards over to that underground volcano? So once he passed out from that big bloated belly of his, I snuck over, and I went, and I jumped in the air and I came down. I jumped in the air again, a little higher this time, and then I came down. I jumped in the air a third time, real high up, landed on his belly, and used like a trampoline, just sprung and flew through the air some, 100 yards over to where the underground volcano was. And lo and behold, it was like gold, this gelatinous stuff. And, picked it up, tasted it. Tasted better than the pistachio nuts, to be perfectly honest. No wonder they didn't last. But basically, I said, I gotta harvest this stuff. So what I ended up doing was I grabbed handfuls of it and I stuffed it in my pockets, in my pants, stuffed it in the pockets of my shirt, other pockets. And, I, had to haul it all back to where the farm was 100 yards down the line, and then started planting all this gelatinous goop in the ground. And, wouldn't you know, it had this wonderful smell once it was in regular soil and away from the volcano. And in about, 2 or 3 minutes, I had this little itty bitty, plant about yay big that was already blooming. I'm like, ooh, isn't that a daisy? In fact, it was a daisy. So, yeah, that's what ended up happening. So that's how I ended up growing daisies from gelatinous goo made from pistachio nuts on Mars.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
All right. All right. Back to the normal voice, everyone. I love Dr. Zach to death, but I have to do it because it's one of my calling cards. Zach.
All right, hold on, let me write it down.
Oh, yeah.
All right, because this is one of the few ones of mine that I remember. Please tell us about the time that you became known as the Happy Hami Hachi Hanopi by the Humi Humi of Hawaii.
Say that slowly.
The time you became known as the Happy Hami Hachi Hanopi by the Humi Humi of Hawaii. I can say that all day if you like.
The Happy Hami Hachi?
The Happy Hami Hachi Hanopi by the Humi Humi of Hawaii. This must be one of the reasons why my ex-girlfriend broke up with me. The one and only time she ended up playing Munchausen, she ended up getting that story.
Happy Hami Hachi Hanopi of the
Humi Humi of Hawaii.
Oh. Oh, God.
Yeah, this is what I do.
Right.
I keep getting yelled at by the panelists for the tongue twisters.
I'm going to remember that one. I'm going to steal it.
Yeah, that's...
We're going to write a song out of that.
That's good.
Be my guest.
Yeah, no, that would be a good one.
Right. All right, so this story begins in Hawaii.
Oh, you got the background working. Oh my gosh.
So there I was, just chilling out in Hawaii. And, as I do, had just finished one adventure. I had rescued the fourth side of the Bermuda trapezoid, which had been lost for many a year. Reattached it. Unfortunately, it was lost again after James's last birthday party, but that's a different story for a different time. And as I was chilling out on the beach, I heard a noise. And that noise was causing quite a commotion. So I looked across the beach and I saw the waves parting. And up as the waves parted came this giant hippopotami who had been tripping on some sort of daisy made of gelatinous pistachio magma.
Oh.
And the hippopotamus said to me, I need your help rescuing my planet of Mars, who is being overrun by these daisies. So I said, sure. So I quickly decided that I would blast off into space. Hold on. I decided that I would quickly blast off into space in order to head out to Mars.
I distinctly remember that it was actually in a steam-powered locomotive that was powered by gerbil giggles.
Gerbil giggles.
That is true. Oh, hold on. Magical coin appears and disappears, appears and disappears. It's magic. We didn't have Daniel Greenwolf here to do real magic, so I have to do this type. Come to the next one, Daniel.
Yeah, he better.
So that is true. I did have to make my way to Mars in some sort of conveyance. And unfortunately, Gevrin's dirigible had popped. So they were busy repairing that. And, Katie Cat's pirate rocket, unfortunately, was, off on another mission. So I needed to find another conveyance. And that conveyance happened to be a train that my dear friend had built while drunk. And see, this is my friend Gifford. Now Gifford, he's usually very matter of fact about things, and he studies hard and he learns as much as he can, and he's very much a very straight and narrow type of guy. But when Gifford gets drunk, then the wild ideas come about, and that is the origins of this train. See, needing to get to Mars, I knew I had to have it built, and Gifford was the one to go, so I had to get him drunk. Now, problem was, getting him drunk required me procuring some alcohol. Now, being, as I was originating in Hawaii, I needed to figure out where I could, now, notice there are some palm trees. And people don't know that certain palm trees will actually produce what's known as palm wine. So I climbed up a tree, tapped the tree, got the wine, brought it to Gifford.
Wait a minute. You're forgetting an important detail there, Zach. You climbed up the wrong tree. It was a hippopotamus tree.
Oh, no.
That is true. And in doing so, I was greeted by the hippopotamus, and he told me, listen, you're in the wrong tree right now. You are currently in the hippopotamus tree here. Your tree is over there. So we need to get you from this tree to that tree. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of on a tight, schedule. So could you launch me somehow? And the hippopotamus said, yeah, I have an idea. And he starts swaying back and forth, bending the tree as he was swinging. Finally, as he swung the tree down one way, he jumped off, flinging me in the other direction. I flew through the air, landing in the palm wine tree, grabbing on the branch, and tapping the palm wine tree to get the palm wine, which I could give to Gifford and get him drunk to get my conveyance to the moon. To Mars.
Mars, yeah.
Okay.
Get your ass to Mars.
So, got him drunk, said, I need to get to Mars, and he said, I got it. Runs to his shop, and I hear clanging and banging and all this strange working noise. As he's working. And 6 hours later, he comes out and out-chugs this train. And he's sobering up at this point because he had run out of the wine. He says, okay, Dr. Zach, I think you asked me to build something. I think this is it. It's all ready to go, but apparently, and he pulls out a piece of paper, scribbled in his own handwriting. And he's like, apparently you need to tickle a bunch of gerbils. I asked him to clarify that. And he said, it's about making them giggle. It's not the other thing. So we were good to go. So I went into town and I went to the village and looked around to see if I could purchase some gerbils. And at the Hawaiian pet store, they had the gerbils. So I did pick them up and they asked me what I was doing. And very hesitantly, I explained that I was picking up these gerbils so that I could tickle them to fly to Mars in a train.
I could have sworn that you originally told them that you were a starting stand-up comedian and you needed a fresh audience, for people to try your jokes out on, and that's how you were going to try to make them laugh.
That is true. However, they saw right through that, and they didn't take that, and they didn't believe me for a second. So there I was, and they looked at me weird.
And they told you, Zach, didn't they, that the most effective way to get a gerbil to giggle is to tickle them with the red Hanapi parrot feathers from their tail.
Okay, pass it off. Pass it.
Yep.
Oh, here it comes. There you go.
Beep, there.
Well, that is true. They did say to me that I had to get that thing, the red Hennepin parrot. So that was my next quest. In order to take this hippo to Mars, I had to capture the parrot. So that meant stalking a parrot while being stalked by a hippo, which is no easy task. As you know, you have to be quiet when stalking, and hippos are rather large. So I needed to get him something that would quiet him down. So we had to go, and first, before we could stalk the parrot, I needed to go to the pillow factory so that we could tie some pillows around his feet and quiet his stomps. So here I was going through Hawaii, being trailed by a hippopotamus with pillows strapped to his feet. And there we saw the parrot. Now, trying to figure out how we're going to get this parrot, the hippo said, wait, I have an idea. I learned an owl mating call, which might work on the parrot. Apparently, this was relevant in some part of his family history.
Mm-hmm.
I told him to go off into the trees and start doing the mating, into the bushes, start doing the mating call, and I would hide in the bushes right beside him.
An owl?
He started doing the owl mating call. Caw, caw.
Wait a minute.
Go get some.
I thought the owl mating call was like, "Hey there, sexy owl." Is that not the?
Well, that was the way it had gone at one time. However,
okay.
Society changes, and certain things that were acceptable in one day were no longer acceptable in another. So that is no longer how it went.
Hey there.
Oh, okay.
So he's doing that mating call. I'm waiting in the bushes. It comes down, and I tackle the parrot, who is now pissed off at me because he thought he was going to get some, and now he's been blocked. I grabbed him. I managed to pluck a couple of feathers off, send the parrot flying, go back to the Hawaiian pet store with the feather in my hand, and they handed me the gerbils, laughing hilariously because apparently they just thought I was some crazy guy, and the feather thing was just something to keep me busy. They handed me the gerbils, started laughing, started calling me Happy Hami Hanachi Honupi, which in the Humi Humi language means that crazy white guy. I took the gerbils to the train, tickled the gerbils, let the train fly to Mars, and delivered the hippopotami to Mars. And that, what we did there is a story for another day.
Using the phone. All right.
All right.
Oh, I'm trying not to laugh.
No.
Feel free to laugh all the time. So, in that case, it is now time for Katie Cat. This is our Katie Laurie story.
Yeah, Kate.
Dun dun dun.
So, Katie, tell me the time you and your pirate ship raided a shipment of toilet paper to be redistributed to the elderly.
We raided a shipment of toilet paper to be redistributed to the elderly.
Yes, you were stealing the toilet paper from the rich and giving it to the poor.
Well, that's obviously something I would do. So my crew and I were off the coast of Hawaii, and suddenly our ship is being chased by this pissed off horny parrot. And so we are, trying to pattern down the riggings and trying to out-navigate this pissed off horny parrot. Camille, of course, is flying in the riggings, and this parrot is just right after her. And we just decide we're going to go below deck. And we go below deck, and this parrot is still railing at the ship. And we're sitting down there, and we realize, we're running low on supplies. So we decide we're going to just stay down below and pick up a sailcloth just to create a little canopy so that we can get up to the helm and steer the ship into port so that we can go get supplies. While we are getting supplies, of course, we're still being assailed by this pissed off horny parrot. I don't, where this thing came from, I have no idea. And we come across these very distraught little old ladies who are carrying bags and bags of groceries, but everywhere is out of toilet paper. Everywhere is out of toilet paper, inexplicably out of toilet paper. So we, of course, being the compassionate pirates that we are, agree to see if we can procure more paper for these wonderful little old ladies who, of course, knew I see a coin, who, of course,
I could have sworn it was because of, the third little old lady named Matilda. Her grandson, Horatio, had made his ghost pepper chili again, and that's why they were actually out of the toilet paper.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Are we going to pass that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's why they were out of the toilet paper. And that's also how we ended up getting rid of that pissed off horny parrot. She actually had some with her and just chucked it at the bird. And so, yeah, burned his eyes, gone, woohoo! So that's how we ended up getting rid of the bird. Finally, rid of the bird assailant. Now have this mission from these sweet, sweet little old ladies. And we decide, well, there's no toilet paper here. Where are we going to find it? Like, who comes to port and buys all the toilet paper? Who in the world? And then we realize probably some of the most selfish people are some of the most wealthy merchants. And we happen to have seen some of those ships sort of to the northwest. So we get back to the ship and we decide we're going to head off to the northwest for a couple of leagues and see if we can find those wealthy merchant ships. And as we're going, we finally spot just one merchant ship. And we decide to lay low. We took down the pirate flags, just kind of, saddled up on side. And just to check it out. And even from a distance, the stacks and stacks of toilet paper on this ship, it was falling out of the windows. There was so much toilet paper on this ship. I don't know how there was room for the crew. So this was going to be easy. Like, even if we just walked by and stuck, or even if we just went by and stuck our hand in the windows, we can come up with a couple of rolls at least. So we, get closer. And of course the crew is panicking because now they realize, oh, they're pirates. But they keep tripping. Yes?
Katie, I thought it was also at this point that you encountered the Kraken, who was also going after the toilet paper.
The Kraken. All right. Yeah. Other side. Yes. So
and in addition to the Kraken,
oh no,
I heard there was a rampaging, line dancing bunch of hippos also going for the toilet paper.
Okay, so the Kraken,
whichever way,
and a rampaging bunch of line dancing hippos were also going after the toilet paper. And from different directions. Like we were headed northwest. The Kraken was coming right up from underneath. And it was white, so you couldn't even see which were the tentacles and which was the freaking flying rolls of toilet paper. And the hippos were just line dancing straight at us. So we decided to do some evasive maneuvers. And just kind of, yeah.
I vaguely recall it wasn't evasive maneuvers. It was the Macarena.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It was the Macarena, because the line dancing hippos, absolutely. Where are we passing coins again? The line dancing hippos. If you can line dance, how can you resist the Macarena? So we at least conquer the line dancing hippos by doing the Macarena. And so they have occupied themselves with the Macarena, and but we of course, you know, let them get off with a couple of rolls of toilet paper balanced on their heads. Looked great. Anyway, but we still had to deal with the Kraken, who was, you know, white, so we couldn't tell what was the toilet paper and what was the Kraken's tentacles. This was a real problem. So we needed to figure out how we were going to tell the difference between the tentacles and the toilet paper. God. Brain went that way. How are we going to tell the difference between the tentacles and the toilet paper? So
I have to keep this PG rated.
You better. Mm-hmm. Okay. Were you going to use that?
No, I'm just.
No,
I have
of
to
course
keep it
not.
PG rated.
So, but we, of course, how are we going to tell the difference between the tentacles and the toilet paper? Well, Camille and Isabella have got it. Suckers. So we now have to figure out, well, how do we figure out what flailing thing has suckers? Well, something's got to stick to it. So are we going to throw something at it? Are we going to throw something at it? What are we going to do? And suddenly, out of nowhere, there comes the pissed off fucking horny parrot. One eye is all swollen because it got burned by the chili, and he's even more angry than usual. So, and it's Camille. I have my crew on live right now, by the way. So Camille comes up with a baseball bat, and as this bird is flying at us, punts the bird into the flailing arms, the flailing toilet paper, the flailing tentacles, and it sticks. And then it sticks again. And it starts pecking him, and so the pissed off horny parrot and the Kraken start going at it. The Kraken's distracted by the pissed off horny parrot, and we can saddle up to the merchant ship. And of course, the crew of the merchant ship is just like scratching their heads going, all right, we're done here. You're fine. Just take it. It's toilet paper. Just take it. We're good. And so we're all, thank you, sir. Like stacking up toilet paper. And, wave goodbye to the pissed off horny parrot and the Kraken, who waves a white tentacle as he's fighting the pissed off horny parrot. And we turn the ship around, head back to port, and we go and we find those sweet little old ladies and deliver them their toilet paper. And they are so wonderfully grateful that they send us home with a giant bowl of super spicy chili.
All right, so now comes to the voting portion of the competition. Now, for those of you who haven't seen Munchausen at home, this would be the point where the audience gets to vote as well for their favorite. And hopefully we'll figure out some sort of platform for that for the future when we do the fundraising. But for now, we will start with Gevrind, who, once he turns his microphone back on, will announce on his honor who he feels is his favorite storyteller of the evening, and give them the coins he has remaining.
All right. Let me reach into my coin jar. For the 5 coins that I have remaining, I believe that I will bestow upon Dr. Zach the honor of the best story of the evening. So here you go, Dr. Zach.
Thank you. Right. And now time for Professor J.P. McClendon.
Well, I'm going to take what coins I got left, and I'm going to pass them on over to Geverand.
Okay. And how many coins was that?
About that many.
Yeah, about that many.
I have, that's the same many that I just gave Dr. Zach.
Yeah.
So
coincidentally.
It was probably about 5.
5, yeah. I
That's what it
dropped
looked like.
About 5.
Okay. I will now,
3 or 4.
on my honor, I feel the best story of the evening was told by Katie Cat, who was able to clean up with the Kraken with her toilet paper.
Yes, I got no votes so far.
Oh no!
And I give her my 3 coins.
Thank you very much. All right, and I will give my remaining coins, I think, has to go to Geverand, just for
Hey!
the line dancing hippo honky tonk padonkadonk.
Oh, thank you so much. How many coins is that?
Was 4 or 5, I think.
All right. Well, I'm going to say 4 because that's what I just found here. So.
Okay, there you go.
Woo!
So, tally for the evening is Geverand has 9 coins. Dr. McClendon, unfortunately, has none. I have 5, and Katie has 3. So that makes Geverand the winner of tonight's Munchausen. And the grand for Munchausen is they won the most valuable resource that is being sought today, a roll of toilet paper.
Oh, thank you so much.
So
you have no idea how bad I
Katie,
did
closer,
this.
so I'm going to hand this to you, okay, Katie?
Oh, where are you? I'm on the other side of you.
Okay,
oh, no.
Here we go.
Okay. All right, I got it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Could you pass it off to James to hand it to Geverand?
Oh, sure. Here.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can't wait to get my hands on that.
Geverand, here you go.
Oh, thank you so much. I will cherish it always.
Thank you all for playing. Now, does anyone want to do any shameless plugging before we finish up? Instagram,
Sure.
web pages.
I'm going to plug something that actually is still available. You can buy the brand new album by a Halo called Fred, which is called Go Home Drama You're Drunk and Other Tales of Going Through Hell to Escape the Evil Monkeys. Available right now on Bandcamp, which means you don't have to go to an actual store to buy it. So that is my plug.
The only plug that I've got is if you want to follow me here on Facebook, you could just, type in Professor J.P. McClendon, or I think it might be just Story Time with McClendon. I'm findable. And, just click like. I need all the help I can get. I just usually eat food and drink stuff, so, be unentertained that way. Yeah. Next.
Well, I am tragically out of gigs, so I'm making my own projects. I'm kind of focusing on Instagram right now, so you can find me. Instagram's Kate Laurie's Voice. And right now, just, for some inspiration, I'm doing a photo series of literary femme fatales. So I'm just doing, I just did Bridget O'Shaughnessy from Maltese Falcon. I did Mary Poppins. And if you don't think Mary Poppins is a femme fatale, you haven't read the books. Read the books. You can look out for that. I've started just doing cover songs just to do something, but I think I'm going to get back into doing opera and my 1-minute voice lessons and things like that. So I think I'm going to concentrate on Instagram while we're, confined, if I can pick one thing. So there'll be a lot on Instagram, Kate Laurie's Voice.
Also, you can find Dr. Zach and I as part of the Munchausen Society, again, here on Facebook. And we also do have a WordPress site. Which one is that, Zach?
I believe it is Munchausen Society at WordPress.com, or sorry, MunchausenSociety.wordpress.com.
What Dr. Zach said.
If you go to our Facebook page, the link is there as well.
Munchausen Society at wordpress.com.
There you go.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming to the show and participating. And we hope to have more shows coming in the near future and hopefully some more celebrities. And we'll see what we can get for you guys. Okay, everyone out there, stay safe. And we'll see you in the future.